I died during the year Shen Buyu loved me the most. Her $800 million fortune. She threw it all away without a second thought, just to burn alive by my side. In our final moments, she held my hand, sobbing so hard she could barely speak. I've waited way too long for you in this life. In the next one, you have to find me sooner. When I opened my eyes again, I was back 10 years in the past. Right when I hated her the most, I rushed over to her company as fast as I could. The second I saw her, I choked back tears and apologized. Shen Buyu, I'm so sorry, but after a brief moment of shock, she instantly went back to being cold. Just say it. How are you going to torture me this time? On a midsummer evening, I woke up from that dream, just sitting there on my bed, staring blankly. Suddenly, the butler's voice echoed from the living room. Sir, madam just called. She said she won't be coming home tonight. I didn't answer. Instead, I raised my hand, staring at the brand new wedding ring on my finger. I couldn't believe it. I was actually back 10 years in the past. And yet, everything in my memory felt so incredibly real. The moment the blast hit us, Shen Buyu was still whispering to me. Don't be scared, I've waited way too long for you in this life. In the next one, you have to find me sooner. For a second, I couldn't tell if this was a dream or reality. Thinking that, I pinched myself hard. A sharp pain shot up my thigh, snapping me wide awake. But right after the shock faded, the heartache and crushing regret kicked in. In my past life, a completely fabricated misunderstanding made me hate Shen Buyu for years. During that time, her rivals did everything they could to ruin her. And at home, all she got was my coldness. Shen Buyu had lost her parents early on. She had no family left, just guarding her business empire all alone. For half her life, later on, the misunderstanding was finally cleared up, and we had 6 beautiful months together. We were even expecting a baby. But before our child was even born, the accident happened, right while my mind was racing. The butler walked in and interrupted me. Sir, the flowers are here. Are you heading out now? The flowers are ready. Weren't you going to see Miss Lu Jiaoyao? Lu Jiaoyao, hearing that name out of nowhere, I froze for a long time. She was my childhood friend, and a truly gifted actress. But a tragic accident left her with severe burns all over her body, forcing her to stay in the hospital long-term. On this exact day in my past life, I took a bouquet of flowers to the hospital to celebrate her birthday, and when I walked out of the hospital, I saw Shen Buyu sitting in her car. Back then, I didn't even want to explain myself. Didn't even want to look at her. But now, Shen Buyu noticed me first. She got out of the car, looking so heartbroken. Today is my birthday. I stopped in my tracks, turning around to glare at her coldly. So what? Today is Lu Jiaoyao's birthday, too. Just to marry me, you played so dirty. You ruined her face. You destroyed her entire future. How the hell else am I supposed to treat you? Facing my harsh accusations, Shen Buyu just opened her mouth, looking so defeated, and defended herself helplessly. That was just an accident. Well, if you hadn't invited her that day, she wouldn't still be lying in a hospital bed. How do you expect me to believe it was an accident? After that, she just fell silent. And finally, she just said one thing to me. I'm sorry. From that day on, my relationship with Shen Buyu completely fell apart. We even gave each other the cold shoulder for the longest time. It was only later that I found out, even that so-called accident that Shen Buyu truly believed was just an accident, was actually a conspiracy set up by someone else to tear us apart. I was getting lost in my thoughts. The butler, noticing I hadn't answered, came back into the room. I've already put your things in the car. If we leave any later, we'll hit terrible traffic. Hearing that, I snapped out of it and frantically threw on my coat. I got into the car. And then, right at that moment, it suddenly hit me. Right now, it's 10 years ago. I still have time to fix everything. The driver started the car, pulling into the traffic. The road to the hospital is already jammed up. Do you want to give Miss Lu a quick call and ask her to wait? I stared out the window at the flashing traffic lights, and eagerly changed my mind. We're not going to the hospital. Take me to the company. To be honest, I didn't really have much of an impression of Shen Buyu's company. When I was younger, I resented her so much that I never even visited once. Later on, when I finally fell in love with her, we ended up being targeted by her rivals. Because it was way too dangerous, Shen Buyu never let me come see her. So right now, standing outside this massive office building. I felt completely lost, just wondering, which of these towers was actually hers? People walking by were staring at me out of curiosity. I looked down at the massive bouquet of flowers in my hands, feeling a little awkward as I pulled out my phone. After I dialed her number, I expected to be waiting forever. But after just 2 short rings, she actually picked up. Is something wrong? Hearing Shen Buyu's voice again, my eyes suddenly welled up with tears. Shen Buyu, where exactly is your office? I can't find it anywhere. The people walking by were giving me even weirder looks now. It sounded like Shen Buyu was right in the middle of a meeting. After hearing me out, she paused for a brief second and just said, "Let's wrap up today's meeting here. Just wait for me downstairs. I'll be right down." Just a few minutes later, I saw Shen Buyu walking out of the building, looking absolutely gorgeous. And I looked like a total mess, just as I was regretting stepping out the door without fixing myself up. Shen Buyu had already walked right up to me. "Why are you here?" She looked a bit cold. I lowered my head, not quite daring to look at her. "I'm sorry for bothering you today." Shen Buyu just said a couple of words and didn't continue. I knew exactly what she wanted to say. Today, I should have been celebrating Lu Jiaoyao's birthday, instead of showing up here. But that actually reminded me. I shoved the flowers right into her arms. "Today is your birthday. Happy birthday." But in the end, she stared at that bouquet for a long time, then finally forced a bitter smile. Fang Shu. Are these the ones she didn't want? Right? I instantly realized her mood was off. Glanced down at the bouquet, and my heart took a massive plunge. Oh crap. Crushed ice blue roses. These were Lu Jiaoyao's favorite flowers. My memories were just too jumbled when I woke up, and my mind was so obsessively focused on finding Shen Buyu, that I completely overlooked these details. "I'm so sorry," but before I could keep explaining, Shen Buyu cut me off, her voice almost stiff. "Thank you for the birthday gift. It's getting late, let the driver take you home." The very next second, she turned around to leave. Thankfully, my reflexes kicked in and I grabbed her clothes. Shen Buyu probably didn't expect me to pull a move like that. She stumbled from my pull, crashing hard right into my chest. It took a good while before she lifted her head, just staring at my fingers, staying completely silent. I felt a surge of stubbornness and held onto her tight. "Shen Buyu, I'm not going back. How are you planning to mess with me this time?" The moment those words came out, I really didn't know how to answer. In my memory, Shen Buyu and I had just gotten married around this time, and we were constantly at each other's throats. Our fights were basically just me lashing out one-sidedly, saying the absolute ugliest things I could think of. Even when it came to holiday gifts, I purposely chose things that would stab her right in the heart. It was exactly like the boy who cried wolf. After crying wolf way too many times, she just completely stopped believing me. In my past life, after the misunderstandings were cleared up, my approach was a lot more direct. Pinning her down was usually enough to fix things. After all, this woman might look icy and aloof, but she was surprisingly easy to coax. However, that method might not work so well right now. And besides, Shen Buyu had suffered way too much torment and grievance. I really wanted to make things up to her. "Let me treat you to dinner." Hearing this, Shen Buyu lowered her eyes and replied coldly, "There is no need, I still have work to do tonight." "Then let's order takeout," I said, shamelessly trailing right behind her. "I'll order you some birthday noodles." Shen Buyu didn't say a word. She didn't even acknowledge my existence. She was still holding that bouquet so tightly in her hands. When we passed the trash can, I thought she'd just toss it in without a second thought. But she didn't. She just kept carrying it the whole way. I walked into her office. It was completely empty, nothing but a cold takeout box tossed on her desk. Was this how she was planning to just get through the night? Sudden wave of heartache washed over me. Then, I pulled out my phone and ordered some birthday noodles. Clear broth. In the past, Shen Buyu always compromised for me. She'd always order spicy, heavy food. It wasn't until way later that I found out. She had a bad stomach. There were so many things she couldn't even eat. After ordering, I sat down on the sofa, not really knowing what to say. Meanwhile, Shen Buyu was taking the wrapping paper off those flowers, getting ready to put them in a vase. Honestly, that sight just stung. Without even thinking, I marched right over, snatched the flowers from her, and dumped them straight into the trash. Shen Buyu just froze. She let out this exhausted sigh. "Fang Shu, are you done throwing a fit?" "Not even close," I was furious. What made me so mad was why she didn't show a single ounce of anger. "We don't need this trash," I said. "If you don't like it, I'll buy you something else. Just leave it. I don't really care for flowers anyway." But I ignored her. Instead, I grabbed the trash bag and threw over my shoulder, "You wait right here." Then I rushed out the door. The streets were lined with flower vendors, though the quality wasn't quite as good as the ones from a real florist. I ran across several stalls and bought up every single red rose they had. Finally, I just bundled them all together with some simple wrapping paper. Right at that moment, the takeout arrived too. So, I lugged all those bags and bundles all the way back upstairs. The 19th floor was dead quiet. The only light on was a single desk lamp in Shen Baiyu's office. I softened my footsteps and pushed the door open. The door banged open with a loud thud. Shen Baiyu flinched at the noise and turned around, her eyes locking onto mine. I was completely out of breath, but I quickly called out to her, "What are you staring at? Come give me a hand." She looked like she couldn't believe I'd actually come back. She hesitated for a second, then hurried over and took the flowers and the takeout from my hands. I finally caught my breath. I was sweating bullets, but I still flashed her a huge grin. "For you, every single rose on the street. I bought them all." But the very next second, I saw this completely lost look wash over Shen Baiyu's face. I froze. Something felt off. It was like she didn't know how to handle me being nice to her anymore. Do I have to act mean for her to get it? Seeing her about to go back to eating that cold takeout, I quickly let out a loud groan. "Ah, ouch." Shen Baiyu looked back at me almost instantly, a hint of tension even showing on her face. I shot her a look and leaned straight back onto the sofa, pretending to be super impatient. "Can't you eat something warm for once? Seeing you eat boxed lunches just annoys me." That's it. For the next half an hour, my complaints echoed non-stop through the office. "Do you even know how to eat? Can't you see that huge piece of beef right there? Not eating your veggies? You're a grown adult. Stop being so picky. Slurp your noodles. Did I buy them just for you to stare at? Honestly, I brought some extra pastries too, just in case she didn't have enough to eat." Just as my mouth was getting completely dry from all the talking, a glass of water was handed to me. I looked up, only to see Shen Baiyu staring right at me. "Wet your throat first, then you can keep scolding me." Her expression had softened a lot, and that icy guard against me was gone. I fought back the urge to pull her into a hug and said, "Shen Baiyu, from now on, let's live a good life together." Hearing this, she looked away, then silently started clearing the dishes. She didn't give me a straight answer. "In a bit, I'll have the driver take you home." But I just got here. Before I could even finish, she quickly pushed the door open and hurried out. She looked like she was running from some terrifying monster. Watching her back as she left, it would be a lie to say I wasn't disappointed. Getting a second chance at life. Why does it feel like coaxing this woman has gotten even harder? With that thought, I collapsed completely onto the sofa, trying to figure out my next move. Right at that moment, my phone suddenly started ringing loudly. I picked it up absent-mindedly. "Where are you?" Hearing that distant yet familiar voice, my somewhat decent mood instantly crashed to rock bottom. "Oh, it's you." I wasn't exactly thrilled, but Lu Jiaoyao acted like she didn't notice at all. "I've been waiting for you for ages. Didn't we agree you'd spend my birthday with me?" Remembering everything that happened in my past life, my fingers slowly tightened their grip. "Lu Jiaoyao, we grew up together as friends, right? We're family." I repeated the word family to myself, took a deep breath, and asked, "Then don't you have anything you want to say to me?" She paused at that, then let out a sigh. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have sneaked a piece of cake behind your back. See, why is it that the one being cared for gets to lie, make demands, and joke around without any consequences? While Shen Baiyu is always forced to stand in the shadows, silently bearing everything alone." Thinking about this, I felt freezing cold all over, unable to even force a smile. "I have things to do today, so I won't be coming over." "Happy birthday." I hung up the phone. My chest felt tight as I remembered right before I was kidnapped. That call Lu Jiaoyao made to me, asking where I was. Then I fell into deep thought. In my past life, she was the person I trusted the most. But what if, right from the very beginning, that explosion was an inside job? Thinking about this, I looked up, only to see Shen Baiyu standing at the door. I didn't know how long she had been standing there. I looked at her, and asked hesitantly, Did you hear all of that?" "I heard you, I actually." "The car is waiting downstairs." She was acting so incredibly calm that I just opened my mouth, completely at a loss for how to explain. All the way until I followed her to the door, the guilt inside me just kept growing stronger. I finally couldn't hold it in anymore and called out to her, "Shen Buyu." However, Shen Buyu merely slowed her steps, but she didn't turn around. I spoke as fast as I could. "That was Lu Jiaoyao on the phone just now. I did promise to celebrate her birthday yesterday, but I'm completely different today. I came back from..." Before I could even finish, Shen Buyu suddenly spun around and cut me off. "That's enough." The next second, she closed her eyes. "The food today was really delicious, and I'm so glad you could celebrate my birthday with me. So, in the end, you're still going to go to Lu Jiaoyao, because that's the price I have to pay." In my past life, Shen Buyu had once told me that back then, for every little bit of kindness I showed her, she had to pay for it with even more pain. That's why she never dared to ask for anything, and was always prepared for me to leave her at any moment. And now, those words pierced straight through my heart. On this exact day in my past life, I wasn't there. Her dinner was just an ice-cold takeout box, and not a single person wished her a happy birthday. That's why she waited for me at the hospital entrance, wasn't it? Shen Buyu just wanted to hear me say happy birthday, but instead, I told her to mind her own business and to stay as far away from me as possible. This long overdue truth hit me so hard I could barely breathe. I stared intensely at her. Catching my gaze, she quickly looked away. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It's getting dark. You should hurry if you're going to the hospital." Ignoring what she just said, I gritted my teeth and suddenly stepped forward, grabbing Shen Buyu's hand. Immediately after, I forcefully locked my fingers with hers. Her whole body froze, but she didn't pull away. "Fang Shu, what are you doing? Haven't you humiliated me enough already?" The very next second, I leaned down and cradled the back of her head. "Honey, don't move," and then, I kissed her. Before I even realized it, she wrapped her arms around my waist too, her grip gradually tightening until her hands were firmly pressing against my back. We held each other tightly, taking a long time before we finally pulled apart. Shen Buyu pressed her forehead against mine, panting heavily. "Fang Shu, don't do this, you don't like it." "It's not like that." After I said that, she fell silent for a long time before finally saying, "Don't tempt me, while I still have my sanity. Go find him?" As I spoke, I blew softly into her ear. "Can you really bear it? Aren't you jealous? Not angry? Are you really okay with me kissing someone else?" That seemed to strike a nerve. The moment the words left my lips, she fiercely dipped her head, capturing my lips as if to vent her frustration. Feeling her sudden desperation, the corners of my mouth curled up. If I hadn't pushed her buttons, she probably would have kept holding back. But things were starting to spiral out of control. I suddenly grew panicked. "Shen Buyu, what are you doing? I meant we should wait until we get home. I gave you a chance. You didn't leave, so now, that chance is gone. Fang Shu. Just you wait." I almost forgot. In our past life, she was an absolute maniac who dared to cross every line. I rested my chin on her shoulder. "Shen Buyu. I've already picked out a name for the baby. A little boy. I'll leave the nickname up to you." I had thought about it for so long in my past life, but I never got the chance to tell her. At first, I was met with dead silence. After a long while, Shen Buyu finally spoke. "Fang Shu, stop talking. Don't you believe me?" Shen Buyu didn't give me another chance to speak. Instead, she dragged me all the way into the office. Sometime in the middle of the night, I threw a little tantrum, telling her I didn't want her anymore. Shen Buyu just held me tight without a word at first, then asked me dead seriously, "If you don't want me, then who do you want?" "Anyone but you." "That's not up to you." When I finally fell asleep, I dreamt of my past life again. In that life, Shen Buyu had charged straight into the blazing fire. She held me so tightly, her entire body trembling. I saw her crying, but all I could do was weakly raise my hand to push her away. "Get out, Shen Buyu, I told you to get out. Don't touch me, please." The memory was so agonizing that when I finally wrenched my eyes open, it took me a long time to catch my breath, only to see that I had pushed Shen Buyu all the way to the edge of the bed. She just looked at me, then quietly handed me a tissue. But she stayed sitting at a distance, making sure her fingertips completely avoided touching mine. Seeing that, my heart completely dropped. She had misunderstood me again. And so, I tried to speak up. "Shen Buyu, I just had a dream. I was trapped in a huge fire. I was tied up, and I told you to leave. But you insisted on staying with me. That's why I yelled those words. Please don't misunderstand. Hearing this, Shen Baiyu's eyes just lit up for a second, then went right back to normal. Okay, I believe you. After saying that, she tucked the covers tightly around me, picked up her pillow, and started walking out. I quickly stopped her, complaining loudly to her back. You're lying. Seeing her stay totally silent, I grabbed my pillow and threw it hard right at her. Fine, just go, you cold-hearted jerk. You're really just gonna sleep with me and run, aren't you? After yelling that, I didn't even look at her. I just turned my back and buried myself under the blankets. After a long moment of silence, I finally felt the mattress sink down a bit. It was Shen Buyu. She let out a helpless sigh. Go to sleep. She obediently wrapped her arms around me, and Shen Buyu fell fast asleep in no time. But I just stared into the darkness, completely wide awake. Way too much information was tangled up in my head. In my past life, the person who kidnapped me and locked me in that factory was a boss that Shen Buyu used to work with, and that accident involving Lu Jiaoyao back then was actually my second uncle's scheme to drive a wedge between Shen Buyu and me. These were all things I only found out during the final year of my past life. My whereabouts had always been heavily protected by Shen Buyu. In my previous life, it was right on our way to the hospital for Shen Baiyu's prenatal checkup that we were targeted, but how exactly did they find out where we were? The only possibility was that phone call I got from Lu Jiaoyao. Even at the very last moment, Shen Buyu had said, we should really thank Lu Jiaoyao. If it wasn't for her, I never would have found you. Looking back at it all now, my most trusted childhood best friend, Lu Jiaoyao, what kind of role was she really playing in all of this? I thought way too much about it. When I woke up the next day, my head felt like it was going to explode. Shen Buyu, you really can't get up. How can you be like this? Get up and eat your breakfast. I'm not eating. She was completely unmoved. I was so incredibly frustrated. I don't like the young version of you at all. The young me? Yes. I like the you from 10 years in the future. Go get older, and stop bothering my sleep. Saying that, I shifted away from her, and ended up sleeping all the way until the afternoon. But Shen Buyu already knew I'd probably wake up starving. When I finally opened my eyes, lunch was neatly laid out on the table. After a quick wash, I was going to see her. She was right in the middle of a video conference in her office. Almost the moment I opened the door, Shen Buyu looked up right at me. Meeting her gaze, I shifted uncomfortably and let out a few soft coughs. Once I was sure no one else was around, I walked over. I sat down across from her and unlocked my phone, but I found out Lu Jiaoyao had called me 5 or 6 times and sent over a dozen texts, all in the dead of night. I must have been asleep by then, but strangely, the ringing didn't wake me up. Thinking about this, I stared thoughtfully at Shen Buyu. Her eyes were completely focused. She didn't even glance my way. So, I crossed my legs and deliberately rubbed my foot against her under the table. Sure enough, it only took a few seconds for Shen Buyu to stumble over her words. Well, that concludes today's meeting. After she said that, she shut her laptop. Right after that, she leaned back in her executive chair and furrowed her brows. Fang Shu. Last night I was Xiao Shu, and now I'm Fang Shu. Boss Shen, did my phone happen to ring at all last night? I'm not really sure. Oh, really? I stood up. Leaning over the desk, I twirled a strand of her hair around my finger and pulled her closer. Shen Baiyu's breathing was clearly getting heavy, but she still tried to act totally serious, reminding me, Fang Shu. We are at work. Oh. Then, do you still want to? I do. So, I gave her another kiss. I'll go next door and wait for you to finish work. Then we'll go home together. Once I got back to my room, I got another call from Lu Jiaoyao. I've been discharged from the hospital. Why did you leave the hospital? I'm done with treatment. If my face can never be fixed, then I choose to just give up. I just want to live a quiet, peaceful life with you. Hearing this, I furrowed my brow. We lost our chance a long time ago. Besides, I'm married now. Then, what about me? What did our promises mean to you? Is it because my face is ruined? Is that why you don't love me anymore? You're the one who said that if we broke up, the company would back you, and you could make it further in your career. But you promised you would wait for me. And how long was I supposed to wait? You had countless opportunities, but you just left me waiting. My uncle is a man who will do absolutely anything to get what he wants. My parents dumped me at home right after I was born. They both moved overseas and started their own new families. I was nothing but a pawn to the Fang family. While Lu Jiaoyao was soaking up the applause on the big screen, my uncle had already backed me into a corner with nowhere left to run. That night, I tried calling her for a really long time, but she never picked up. The very next day, I watched her first on-screen kiss, and my heart completely shattered. So, I accepted my uncle's proposal. That's why, right now, when Lu Jiaoyao asked me on the phone, "Have you fallen for her?" I answered without a single second of hesitation. I love her. For the next few days, Lu Jiaoyao never messaged me again. I thought about it a lot. If I wanted to catch the bastard who ruined me in my past life, I was going to need Shen Baiyu's help. So, the first step was getting her to accept the fact that I'd been reincarnated, so she wouldn't lock me up in a psych ward. So, over the next month, I told her the plots of 3 different reincarnation novels. I was explaining them with so much passion, but Shen Buyu totally missed the point. If you like them so much, I can invest some money and get them turned into TV shows. It's not about whether I like them. The point is, do you like them? Whatever you like, I like. Oh, really? Then tell me what you thought about them. And then, she just went dead silent. Things have been a lot more harmonious between us lately. She gives in to pretty much whatever I want, but I still couldn't shake this feeling, like there was a wall between us. With that in mind, I pulled up a chair and sat right in front of her. I looked at her dead serious and said, "Shen Buyu, I think it's time I told you the truth." She put down her chopsticks, giving me her full, undivided attention. Go ahead. Actually, just like what happens in those novels, I've been reincarnated too, but the only response I got was a long, heavy silence. I watched her closely, and realized she was desperately trying to hold back a smile. You don't believe me, do you? I do believe you. Please, go on. Whatever. I decided to just lay it all out there. I told her absolutely everything that happened to me in my past life. At first, Shen Buyu was just listening to it like it was some fairy tale. But slowly, her eyebrows knitted together in a frown. I knew I had struck a chord. The guy who ruined me is named Wang. He should be working for your company right now, before he leaves to start his own business. Of course, this is 10 years in the past, so I have no idea exactly where he is right now. And my uncle is involved in this too. The last thing you need to watch out for. But before I could finish, I was cut off by a piercing ringtone. Shen Buyu and I both stared at the name flashing on my phone screen. Because of my own stupid mistake, I still hadn't changed Lu Jiaoyao's contact name. It was Ah Yao again. Seeing this, Shen Baiyu's face dropped, instantly returning to her cold demeanor. I'll go wash the dishes. She stood up, grabbing the plates. That feeling washed over me again. It was deliberate avoidance. She was still terrified. I gritted my teeth and snatched up my phone, following her right into the kitchen, and hit the speaker button. Maybe, this is the very last time I'll ever call you. Underneath her voice, there was the howling of the wind. What are you talking about? Where are you? The rooftop of the school building. Do you remember? The day my parents left me. When no one in the Fang family truly cared about you, either. You told me, from now on, we could be family. Back then, I wanted to jump off that very roof. But you stopped me, and now you don't want me anymore. I just feel like there's no point in living at all. Hearing this, my mind went totally blank. I instantly spun around, grabbed my coat, and threw it on. Lu Jiaoyao, don't do anything stupid. You wait for me, I'll be right there. Hanging up the phone, I turned my head, only to see Shen Buyu still facing away from me, standing dead still by the sink. The next second, panic set in, and I rushed straight over to her. Are you crazy? Why aren't you changing your clothes? She stumbled as I yanked her arm, staring at me with heavy eyes. Go get change. I can't go by myself, that's entirely inappropriate. I'm a married man, Shen Buyu. Take off that damn apron. I'm calling emergency services right now. She's lost her mind. What if she actually jumps right in front of a crowd? 1 minute later, Shen Buyu was already standing at the door, completely ready. I'm change. Let's go. Seeing her, I was caught off guard. You move pretty fast. Thank God we could drive ourselves, saving us the hassle of waiting for a driver. The rescue team had already arrived at the scene, and they strictly warned me not to call Lu Jiaoyao again. With this tiny sliver of hope keeping her grounded, she wouldn't do anything reckless for the moment, and that bought us just enough time to safely clear the crowd. Up on the rooftop, the wind was vicious. The rescue squad was positioned 5 meters away, not daring to get any closer. I was escorted onto the roof. Sir, she insists on seeing you. You need to stall her for a bit. I glanced over at Shen Buyu. She was held back behind the police tape, giving me a firm nod. I took a deep breath and climbed the steps. Lu Jiaoyao shifted slightly as she sat on the edge of the rooftop. She turned her head, revealing the burned side of her face. Xiao Shu, you're here. Looking at her, I felt completely dazed. It felt like I hadn't seen her in ages. In my past life, after clearing up the misunderstanding with Shen Buyu, we went to visit her a few times, but Lu Jiaoyao pushed us away completely. I guess when you've hated someone for years, and suddenly realize they aren't the real culprit, it's still hard to just let go of all that anger. And later on, when Shen Buyu was being attacked from all sides, I pretty much stopped going out. Between my past life and this one, it must have been over a year since we last met. Lu Jiaoyao, please, just come down first, okay? She ignored me, and just kept staring right at me. I'm so sorry. Then, her gaze shifted to Shen Buyu, who was waiting for me. You were right. I was way too extreme. You clearly told me before you got married that we would only ever be family from then on. I was just too greedy. I thought back to all those years when Lu Jiaoyao and I supported each other and just tried to survive. When my second uncle kicked me out, she ran out in the pouring rain in the middle of the night just to bring me an umbrella. She took me home. Thinking about all this, I started to waver. Was she really the one who killed me? You promised you'd spend my birthday with me every single year. If you sing me a birthday song, I'll come down. Okay. I'll sing it. But as I was singing, my mind drifted again. I don't think I sang for Shen Buyu that day. I definitely need to make it up to her when we get back. The song ended. Lu Jiaoyao stood up on the edge of the roof and turned to face me. Thank you. I haven't heard you sing in years. It was beautiful. I just want to ask you one last thing. Go ahead. Do you still love me? I fell dead silent. After a long pause, I finally spoke. You're my family. Let's just go home, okay? Lu Jiaoyao didn't look at me. She seemed to be locking eyes with Shen Buyu instead. After a long moment, she gave me a faint smile. Xiao Shu, I love you. And with that, she spread her arms wide and fell backwards. In an instant, my mind went completely blank. The very next second, I lunged toward the edge of the roof, but my hands grasped nothing but empty air. I frantically looked down. The moment I heard that sickening thud, my legs gave out, and I collapsed straight to my knees. Lu Jiaoyao was dead. Just like that. Did I actually accuse her wrongly? After knowing her for so many years, because she sensed me pulling away, she chose to end her own life. Does that mean I'm the one who killed her? My whole body went cold. I just sat there, completely numb. I couldn't stop shaking, and right at that moment, a warm body wrapped around me, like holding onto a lifeline. I gripped Shen Buyu's sleeve tightly. I think I killed her. I'm right here. Don't be afraid. I don't know. I just don't know what to do. I was rambling incoherently. I'm so sorry. She's not dead. Hey, don't be scared. Shen Buyu gently rubbed my back, whispering right by my ear. They had an air cushion set up at the bottom. It caught her. Everything is okay. Hearing those words, I squeezed my eyes shut, and immediately after, the tears just started pouring out. Seeing me break down like this, she spoke with a strained voice. It's just some scrapes and bruises. She was taken to the hospital. If you want to go see her, I can drive you. No. I want to stay right here with you. And so, Shen Buyu and I headed back to the car. Watching the rescue team slowly pack up and leave, I felt completely exhausted. Before we got here, there was one last thing I didn't get to tell you. I suspect Lu Jiaoyao was involved too. Fang Shu, what if she wasn't? What if she's completely innocent? Would you choose her, or me? It wasn't until she asked me that question that I could finally, truly breathe a sigh of relief. I sat up straight and looked deeply into Shen Baiyu's eyes. You remember when Lu Jiaoyao first debuted, right? We didn't even know each other back then. By that time, I had already broken up with her. She made her debut and got more and more famous. By the time you and I got married, she and I had already been broken up for over a year. I'll admit, I really resented you at first. Just like I hated my second uncle, I hated anyone who barged into my life without my permission. And right around that time, Lu Jiaoyao got into a car crash on her way to a dinner with investors. And the driver happened to be one of your people. So, I just assumed you were exactly like my second uncle, totally ruthless and cold-blooded. As soon as the words left my mouth, Shen Buyu gently squeezed my hand. I'm sorry, that really was my fault. I didn't think things through. No. I already told you, that was all second uncle's doing. You didn't do anything wrong. If anyone dares to say a bad word about you, I'll go pick a fight with them myself. After I said that, she stayed perfectly quiet for a moment, and then softly thanked me. Thank you. What are you thanking me for? This is the first time someone's been so fiercely protective of me. Protective of me, specifically. It hit me with another wave of guilt. It was true, Shen Buyu really had no one looking out for her. Right after that, she looked at me earnestly, and squeezed my hand tighter. Can you tell me how you first fell for me? There was this one time, you had a bit too much to drink. When you came home, you tripped over the little scarf I was knitting for the puppy. And right in the middle of the night, you just sat cross-legged on the floor, trying to figure out how to knit it. I called out for you to come to bed. But you said without a scarf, the little dog would freeze in the winter. So I figured, anyone who cares that much about a puppy being cold, maybe they couldn't be cruel enough to ever hurt another person. Actually, there's a little detail I left out. Shen Buyu was talking in her sleep that night. She whispered, Fang Shu. I'm so cold too. At the time, I had just gotten up in the middle of the night for a glass of water, so I heard every single word. Right then, I realized how much she was hurting. Just completely alone, with no one to love her. My heart broke just telling the story, but Shen Buyu was hanging on to every word. We're going to have a little dog? Yeah, 7 years from now, you're going to give me one for my birthday. You told me you were always too busy, barely ever coming home. So you wanted it to keep me company. As I talked, I giggled and started counting on my fingers, wondering whose old dog it might be in this timeline. Or maybe it hasn't even been reincarnated yet. Our little dog was so incredibly smart. It picked up every trick instantly. I honestly started to suspect it never drank the soup of forgetfulness. Halfway through my sentence, I suddenly froze. Shen Buyu blinked in surprise. What's wrong? I just stared blankly, grabbing her hand, and mumbled. Lu Jiaoyao. She's just like me. Like you how? I turned my head, my eyebrows knitting together tighter and tighter. Back on the rooftop, right before Lu Jiaoyao jumped, she told me that it had been years since she last heard me sing her the happy birthday song. But, just last year, I had just celebrated her birthday with her. Shen Buyu narrowed her eyes, and it clicked instantly. You mean, in your past life, for several years. Exactly, going by what she said, she spent years waiting for me to sing that birthday song. That's the only explanation that makes sense. Shen Buyu and I locked eyes, and immediately whipped the car around toward the hospital. But we never expected. When we arrived at the hospital, the doctor told us someone had already taken Lu Jiaoyao away. We wanted to ask more, but the doctor cited patient confidentiality and refused to say anything else. Given the circumstances, it was hard to believe Lu Jiaoyao had absolutely nothing to do with what happened. On the drive back, I couldn't stop thinking about one thing. Tell me, do you think she jumped on purpose? Shen Buyu gripped the steering wheel, her fingertips lightly tapping against it. Normally, For lower floors, they always set up an inflatable rescue cushion at the bottom. If it were me, I'd be 100% sure that I'd survive the fall. I stared at her side profile, deep in thought. So, what do you think her motive was? To play on your sympathy. Just to make you take her side. This was honestly the first time in 2 lifetimes that Shen Buyu had ever sounded so wonderfully jealous. So, I pursed my lips and nodded with exaggerated seriousness. I had no idea you were such an expert. Women understand women best. I didn't call her out on it. Instead, I just looked out the window, lost in my own thoughts. Warning Shen Buyu 10 years in advance about who to watch out for. Things shouldn't end up any worse than before. Thinking back to how fiercely she sacrificed everything in our past life, my heart started aching all over again. It was already really late by the time we got home. The living room was pitch black. Just as Shen Buyu reached out to flip the light switch, I suddenly lunged at her, pinning her down onto the couch. Caught off guard, she had to brace her legs on either side of me, just to keep her balance. What are you doing? I leaned in close to her ear and whispered, Shen Buyu, I love you. Wait, get off me first. No way, I'm throwing myself at you and you're actually rejecting me? Shen Buyu, completely flustered, covered my eyes with her hand. How was I supposed to know those 3 little words would have such a lethal effect? The thought made me grin mischievously. I just kept whispering it to her, over and over. I love you. Hovering right over her, I could feel her heart racing faster and faster. My playful side completely took over, and I must have said I love you over a dozen times. Right when I was finally about to stop, she suddenly silenced me with a kiss. Shen Buyu was more dominant than I had ever seen her. Her hand slid up the sides of my face, gently but firmly cradling my cheeks. You just won't behave. She sighed softly against my lips. Aren't you hungry? I am, but right now, I'm craving you. Then you should eat actual food. Seeing that she was still trying to resist, I completely threw caution to the wind. Don't you want to? Shen Buyu, pay attention to me. Don't pretend you can't hear me. I kept teasing her relentlessly. But Shen Buyu just pinned my hands down and gave me this incredibly deep look. Finally, staring into my unwavering eyes, she finally gave in and nodded. Fang Shu. I've given you your chance. After this, if you still want to leave, I absolutely won't let you. And then, I learned the hard way. That Shen Buyu really knows how to get what she wants. She lay right next to me, whispering to me over and over again, you're mine. Faced with her fierce possessiveness, I just hummed softly, and pulled her close. I'm yours, I'm yours. I'm all yours. After our shower, I was dead tired, but the moment Shen Buyu saw me lie down, she immediately leaned over me. Fang Shu, baby, hubby. Right after we got married, you promised to go to the movies with me. But the next day, you had a stomachache and cancelled. You went to the hospital. Was it to see her? That was ages ago. I thought back for a moment, and it seemed to have absolutely nothing to do with Lu Jiaoyao. That day, I had a nasty stomach bug. I went to the hospital for an IV drip, and then went straight home to bed. But hearing Shen Buyu's tone, something felt really off. In a flash, all my sleepiness completely vanished. Seeing me stay quiet, her face fell. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I'm not mad. Saying that, I sat up cross-legged. I'm just curious, what made you think I went to see Lu Jiaoyao? Logically speaking, with her resources, she could have easily tracked my whereabouts. Yet she hadn't checked at all. After a brief silence, Shen Buyu confessed honestly, I can see Lu Jiaoyao's social media posts. Doesn't she rarely post anything? Our eyes met, and we both looked totally confused. So, Shen Buyu pulled out her phone and handed it to me. I eagerly clicked on Lu Jiaoyao's profile. The moment I saw the posts, my head started buzzing. August 9th. Today, Xiao Shu said he's throwing me a birthday party. Thank you, my love. August 1st. Got to taste the food Xiao Shu cooked with his own hands. It still tastes the same. The taste of our memories. I frantically scrolled down, all the way back to 6 months ago. To that one post. The movie is out. Waiting for Xiao Shu to arrive. That was the exact day I had that stomach bug. But when I opened my own phone, Lu Jiaoyao's feed was completely empty. The truth is, ever since I got married, I've barely had any contact with her. I truly just treated her as an old friend. But behind my back, she was hurting my loved ones, over and over again. My head throbbed with anger. And you actually believed her? There isn't even a single picture of me in any of these. Shen Buyu lowered her eyes. She stared at my phone for quite a while before finally putting it down. I was too scared not to believe it. She kept opening up my social media feed, then closing it again. I was terrified to hire someone to look into it, and find out you were actually sitting in a movie theater with her. If that was true, I would rather just not know. Hearing her say that, I felt so angry, yet my heart just ached for her. You could have just asked me. I stopped myself right in the middle of the sentence. Because of course, she was too scared to ask. Back then, I used to snap at her and say awful things over the slightest thing. The thought made me pull Shen Buyu into a tight embrace. I was so wrong. I'm sorry, I swear I'll never lose my temper with you ever again. She could feel how sorry I was, and let out a soft little laugh. Then she pressed a kiss against my ear. You don't have to. I actually love it when you get mad. You're cute. Just, please don't ever say you don't want me anymore. That night, the very last wall standing between us completely melted away, but, after just a few days of peace and quiet, I realized that if Shen Buyu went a single day without me yelling at her, she would get all restless. So, sure enough, one day, I lost it all over again. Shen Buyu, are you trying to work yourself to death at the office? Just so I can give you a medal for being Employee of the Month? It's not that serious. I can still handle it. Late last night, she ran a really high fever. I had to call the family doctor over, who prescribed some fever meds. I had to half coax, half force them down her throat. Her fever didn't finally break until it was almost dawn. I wrote down a light recipe for her to eat when she woke up. But who could have guessed that by 8 in the morning, she'd already left for work? Maybe it was the trauma from my past life, but I was extra paranoid about her safety now. So, after grabbing a quick bite, I packed up some porridge and rushed straight to her office. The second her secretary saw me, she jumped up, looking totally panicked. President Shen is in her office right now. She's not taking any visitors. That's fine, I'll just wait out here. With that, I plopped down on the sofa right outside her door and started scrolling on my phone. Little by little, I could hear Shen Buyu's voice coming from inside. I gave you a chance. You're the one who threw it away. President Shen, you clearly set me up to fail. And so what if I did? You're being completely unreasonable. I am a businesswoman. I don't do reasonable. I rested my chin in my hand, listening intently, while her poor secretary looked like she was going to have a heart attack. Right at that moment, the door flew open, and a furious middle-aged man came storming out. Right before he left, he locked eyes with me, and in just that split second, it made me freeze, because this guy was the exact killer who shanked my kidney in my past life. But before I could even react, the secretary, sweating buckets, yelled at the top of his lungs. President Shen, your husband is here. That snapped me back to reality. I watched the killer's back as he hurried away, then grabbed the lunchbox and walked inside. Shen Buyu was sitting by the window. She only turned around when she heard my footsteps, smiling so gently. I was going to head home at noon. I set the lunchbox down on the table with a thud. Did that scare you just now? I am sorry. I will watch my tone next time. Seeing her soften her voice, I scratched my head. No, it is not that. That guy is the exact guy the first told you about last time. The one who came after me. Hearing that, Shen Buyu instantly dropped her smile. Understood, just leave him to me. Okay, I trust you. But anyway, let's just eat first. I made this myself. Give it a try. However, while we were eating, because Shen Buyu ate with such elegance, I just stared at her, completely spacing out for a moment. Why do you keep staring at me? Do you want to share? No, I said, leaning forward nervously. Listen. Shen Buyu stopped eating again and sighed. Do you want to buy something, or what? If you want to buy something, just use the card I gave you. Or wait until I finish work, and I will go with you. I bit my lip, my ears burning red. Could you, please, talk to me in that same tone again? I covered my face, almost shrinking under the table. I am really into that. Shen Buyu put down her chopsticks and fell completely silent. I thought back to a certain night before, when my brain short-circuited and I told her, look at me like I am absolute trash. I suddenly felt a little regret. Some freaky things really do just slip out by accident. After Shen Buyu swallowed her food, she looked at me and laughed. I was super embarrassed. Stop laughing at me. Forget I said anything. I will not forget. I could never refuse any request of yours. So that very day, everyone in her company saw me sprinting out of her office with bright red ears. After being tangled up for so many years, it only recently felt like we were madly in love. I hijacked Shen Buyu's social media, posting my failed kitchen experiments every few days. And occasionally posting blurry couple selfies I took on a whim, paired with incredibly cringy, childish captions. Shen Buyu tactfully said, "I do actually have some friends on here, you know." The implication being, it was definitely a bit embarrassing, but seeing how much fun I was having, she just went along with everyone's teasing. Lu Jiaoyao seemed to have completely vanished from my life. Occasionally, when I see students getting out of school, I still think back to the past. But my intuition tells me that everything won't just end this easily. Shen Buyu has become incredibly busy, leaving early in the morning and coming home late at night. Sometimes, when I wait for her at home, I'd remember how it was exactly like this in our past life. She always had endless things to do. The time she spent talking to me was pitifully little. At 12 o'clock at night, the butler reminded me it was time for bed. I just sat cross-legged on the carpet, surrounded by a pile of newly bought things. Let me just wait a little longer. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Shen Buyu face to face for a whole week. Tonight, I just suddenly felt like waiting for her. During the day, I went to the mall and bought her a whole set of winter clothes. When I was putting them in the closet, I suddenly heard a phone buzzing inside one of the coats. I pulled it out to take a look. It was an email. I snapped a picture and sent her a message, teasing her sarcastically. "Oh, Miss Shen. How come you have a secret phone I don't know about?" She was already used to my occasional dramatic jokes, replying, "It's for work. I forgot to bring it. Open it for me and see what it says." I joked as I opened the email. This better not be a love letter from someone else. The screen loaded. It was a medical report. I squinted my eyes, zooming in to read. Lu Chungwei. Wait, isn't this Lu Jiaoyao's dad? Skull fracture and, was this guy smashed by something? There was a death report attached below. I replied, "Man, that's so tragic. Just put the phone back. I'll be home in a bit." You just said I could look at whatever I wanted. Stingy. There's nothing interesting to see. Remembering that I was still keeping her dinner warm in the kitchen, I stuffed the phone back, and then pulled out some wrapping paper, planning to wrap the new clothes up as a present to give her a surprise. When my good friend Yang Jian found out, he teased me over the phone. "You used to find her so damn annoying. Fang Shu, did someone swap out your brain or something? Our Shen Buyu is the absolute best. I was just blind back then. Yeah, whatever. When are you going to partner up and open a studio with me? Do you have any idea how high in demand your design drafts are right now?" Hearing this, I hesitated for a moment. Let's wait a bit longer. I can still give you my drafts from home, right? Ooh, la. Fine, just stay home and keep your precious Miss Shen company then. I admit it, I really just want to spend more time with her. If I really got a second chance at life and nothing changed, then every day we spent together is literally one day less. That night, Shen Buyu came home right on the dot. I curled up in the corner of the sofa, holding my breath. Shen Buyu softly called out my name. I didn't make a sound, but instead hunched over, snuck around behind her, and suddenly pounced on her. After Shen Buyu realized it was me, she stood perfectly still. And just like that, she let me hold her tight. I wrapped my arms completely around her. "Why weren't you scared?" "Because I saw your shadow. Go to the bedroom, I got a gift for you." Just as I said, she followed me inside. Right in the middle of the bedroom sat a gift box. After taking just a few steps, she turned her head to look at me. It's your late birthday present. I didn't even get to make your birthday noodles this year, which I'm really bummed about. And you know, I earned all this money working hard on my design drafts. Go ahead, open it and see. Fang Shu, thank you." Her hand rested on the gift box, but she hesitated for a long time. "There's something I need to talk to you about. Go ahead, we might need to be apart for a while." Hearing those words, I froze for a few seconds. I honestly thought I was still dreaming. You want a divorce?" Just as Shen Buyu opened her mouth to speak. "I get it, I'll go pack my things." "Fang Shu, please, just be patient and let me finish, okay? Just say it, honestly. Even if you don't say it, I know I broke your heart. You only got together with me to get back at me. Back when we got married, I shouldn't have called you a nuisance, and I shouldn't have stood you up on purpose. Leaving you waiting outside the movie theater for 2 hours. And I definitely shouldn't have exploited the fact that you're a neat freak. Only to sneak up and smear jam all over your white dress. I deserve this. Are you a toddler? I struggled with all my might. Refusing to back down, I retorted, the success gurus say. You have to hit your opponent where it hurts. Don't you just love being clean? Well, I'm going to dirty your bedsheets. Even if we divorce, I'm going to mess them up one last time. After our little scuffle, Shen Buyu wrapped her arms and legs around me, holding on tight. Then, putting on a serious face, she said, all right, enough. I'm being serious with you. I need you to put on an act with me. What kind of act? Lu Chengwei, he's Lu Jiaoyao's father. That email you saw earlier said her dad passed away due to an accident at the construction site. That specific project, many years ago, was a joint project between your uncle and my dad. Hearing this, I suddenly remembered that day I went up to the rooftop to find Lu Jiaoyao. She was standing up there, while I was down below, clutching a popsicle. Lu Jiaoyao, what are you doing? She turned around, her face full of absolute despair. My family is gone, I don't have a family anymore. At the time, I was completely shocked by the tragedy that hit her family. I carefully edged my way over and offered her a popsicle, too. I don't have a family either. So, what about me? You, yeah, my uncle only ever screams at me for causing trouble. Even when I got bullied by my classmates. He never cared about me at all. Lu Jiaoyao looked down at me. She hopped down from the ledge. What's your uncle's name? Fang Ming. Hearing this, she slowly raised her eyes. Fang Ming? That Fang Ming from the Fang group? After I confirmed it, she looked at me with unprecedented seriousness. Don't worry, I will take really good care of you from now on. Years later, I finally understood the meaning behind that look. Perhaps, right before learning my second uncle's name, Lu Jiaoyao truly wanted to treat me as family. But my background, it gave her the perfect opening for revenge. So, her promise, from the very beginning, was woven out of lies. Seeing me completely lost in memories, Shen Buyu took my hand. Fang Shu, I can tell. Lu Jiaoyao has feelings for you. You said that in our past life, you were murdered, and Lu Jiaoyao played a part in it. Maybe, it was because you chose me. I can't risk keeping you tied to me. I won't gamble with your life. You don't have much to do with the Fang family, Lu Jiaoyao should know that. So, as long as you leave me, I will bear all the future dangers alone. Hearing this, I slowly shook my head. Not a chance. Listen to me, I won't. Saying that, I stubbornly squeezed her hand back. I am not getting a divorce. In our past life, we even had a baby together. We just didn't get to see her born. As soon as the words left my mouth, I saw Shen Buyu completely freeze. Really? Yeah, who knows, maybe we already have a baby on the way right now. Shen Buyu, I can play along and act with you. But, absolutely no divorce. Several weeks later, the media broke the news. Famous entrepreneur Shen Buyu suspected of marital crisis, divorcing husband. That same day, photos of me moving out of the villa were posted online. Yang Jian watched me haul bags and boxes into his apartment, absolutely overjoyed. My rich friend, you finally figured it out, and decided to build a business with me. I kept a cold face. Love is a joke. Just a few days ago, it was all baby this, baby that. Come on, tell me what happened. Meeting his eyes, completely sparkling with gossip, I felt incredibly frustrated. I smeared jam on her bedsheets. That is it? You got divorced over that? So what are your plans now? No plans. Living on my own, of course. On day 3, I received a call from my second uncle. Little Shu, come back home tomorrow night. Holding the phone, I kept spraying water on my flowers. Second uncle, why did you suddenly think of me? Well, since you're divorced now, your family just can't stand to watch you suffer out there. So, taking advantage of this banquet, they wanted to help you scout out someone new. You sure are well informed. Just tell me, are you coming or not? Why wouldn't I come? I'll definitely be there on time. After hanging up the phone, Yang Jian looked at me with concern. Didn't you cut ties with your parents a long time ago? What does their family business have to do with you? Blood is thicker than water. But I won't let them walk all over me. They're always trying to scheme against me anyway. That night, I pushed open the grand doors of the Fang family mansion. As soon as I stepped inside, all eyes in the room turned toward me. Some people were even whispering. I made my way through the crowd to the corner, where I heard Shen Bayu's voice. It's been a long time. Following the sound, I saw her holding a wine glass, standing right in the middle of the crowd. She looked absolutely dazzling. Hearing about her recent divorce, quite a few people were flocking to her like moths to a flame. And right here at the scene, a huge crowd had her completely surrounded. Once they noticed me approaching, the chatter gradually died down. Some people couldn't even hide their excitement for a good show. One guy smiled and suggested, "President Shen, how about you catch up with him first?" Shen Buyu gave me a cold, dismissive glance, and looked away. "There's no need. We don't have anything to do with each other anymore." The very next second, I casually grabbed a glass of champagne from a waiter's tray and walked straight towards Shen Buyu. Seeing this, the people in my path automatically stepped aside to make way. When I stood right in front of Shen Buyu, I waited for her to speak first. But Shen Buyu just stared at me and didn't say a single word. Losing my patience, I just tossed the champagne right onto her dress. "Just saying hi. You don't mind, do you, President Shen?" She took the empty glass from my hand, her fingertips gently brushing against the back of my hand. "Not at all." Feeling that little move of hers, I just scoffed. I dropped the glass and turned to walk away. But to my surprise, as soon as I pushed open the terrace doors, I realized someone was already out there. And it was someone I knew. Lu Jiaoyao. She was leaning against the railing, her severely burned face hidden in the shadows. "Xiao Shu, it's been a while." Looking at her, I clenched the hands I had hidden behind my back. "It's been a while, but why are you acting so distant?" Trying to calm my nerves, I took a deep breath. "Why would you think that? I haven't even interrogated you yet. Where the hell did you go? You blocked my number, didn't you? You've got some real nerve now." Just like old times, I gave her a playful little shove. Suddenly, the light from the door was blocked out. I caught a glimpse out of the corner of my eye, and saw Shen Buyu leaning against the window frame, her eyes staring right at us. Lu Jiaoyao stepped completely back into the shadows. I went to get surgery." As she spoke, she leaned in slightly, revealing her entire face. "Take a good look at me. Do I look the same as before?" Most of her badly burned skin had already healed. I stared at her in a daze. "Yeah, you do. So, are we?" Before she could even finish, I quickly took a step back to put some distance between us. "I'm happy for you, I really am." Just then, my second uncle walked over with a crowd of guests. "Come on over, let me introduce you all. This is my nephew, Fang Shu. The lovely lady next to him is our company's newly signed actress, Lu Jiaoyao. Actually, the real reason I threw this banquet was to play matchmaker and help these two kids settle down together." The guests immediately showered us with compliments, crowding around Jiaoyao and me so tightly we couldn't even breathe. I frowned. "I'm not ready to." But Jiaoyao suddenly wrapped her arm around my shoulder. "Don't worry, uncle. I'll take great care of Fang Shu from now on." I started to panic. I tried hard to pull away, but she didn't seem to care. She just kept effortlessly chatting up the guests. After she had finished greeting several people, I finally asked with a heavy heart, "When exactly did you get mixed up with my uncle?" Hearing this, she slowly smoothed out her sleeves. "I have to get the Fang family's approval before I can marry you. I actually had other plans originally, but your divorce really saved me a lot of trouble." I stared at her face, feeling a terrifying sense of unfamiliarity. "What's wrong? Don't recognize me anymore? Are you thinking that I'm not quite the person you imagined me to be?" In the past, her smile always felt so bright and sunny to me. I used to think we belonged to the same world, but looking at her now, it seems I was completely wrong. She stepped toward me, forcing me to back up until my shoulders hit the glass door. She locked eyes with me, then forced a chilling smile. "This is who I've always been. Honestly, I shouldn't have let you off the hook either. But I love you. As long as you come back to me, everything can go back to normal. And you wouldn't want to end up like in your past life. Dying right alongside Shen Buyu, would you?" A violent shudder ran through my entire body. Absolute terror washed over me in an instant. She knew everything. Jiaoyao clearly noticed my breathing getting heavier. She leaned across me, resting her hand on the doorknob behind my back, and gave it a gentle push. The door clicked open, and the music from the banquet drifted in. She smiled and mouthed the words to me, "Go on back. Enjoy the party. I'll see you around." It wasn't until I melted back into the crowd that I finally realized. I was dripping in a cold sweat. I slowly leaned back against the staircase, Then, following my memory, I went up to the second floor. At the end of the hall was the room I used to live in. I wanted to go in and rest, but almost the second I pushed the door open, someone clamped a hand over my mouth and dragged me behind the door. Where did she touch you? In an instant, a soft kiss landed on my shoulder. Shen Buyu didn't say a word, her lips slowly finding mine. Standing there in the dark, I kissed her back. A long time passed before I whispered, "You jealous? Drowning in it, nobody else is allowed to touch you." Nobody. She went to bite my shoulder, but I quickly pushed her away. I still have to go downstairs later. How would I explain teeth marks on my shoulder? Shen Buyu just frowned, clearly unconvinced. I kept trying to reason with her. They're gonna say that right after my divorce, I immediately hooked up with Lu Jiaoyao. Do you really want to hear that kind of trash talk? No. Then you need to control yourself. I gently cradled her head, letting her rest against my chest. Lu Jiaoyao teamed up with my second uncle. She's even figured out my situation, and she's on guard against your plans. Are you sure about this? She went quiet for a moment. What if the Fang family takes a massive hit because of this? What would you do? So that's what she was worried about. My parents were a business arrangement. They couldn't stand each other. They dumped me on my second uncle, and both moved overseas. My uncle just treats me like a tool to grab more power for the family. If it wasn't for you, I'd probably be married off to some 70-year-old woman by now. As I spoke, I gently hooked my finger around her ring finger. Looking at the wedding ring she wore, my heart felt warm. So, don't hold back because of me. If the Fang family really goes down, it's just karma for my uncle's dirty deeds. He has it coming. Over the next few months, I went right back to the daily grind. Aside from being dragged back for forced blind dates with Lu Jiaoyao, life was actually pretty quiet. Yang Jian, however, was absolutely pissed about it. You already cut ties with them. Why the hell are you still doing whatever they say? I didn't bother explaining, mostly because Shen Buyu had been popping up on the financial channels a lot lately. Yang Jian cursed her out almost every time he saw her. A woman like that, you can just tell she's bad news. If I ever let you get back together with her, I'll literally do a handstand and eat crap. I pulled myself up from a pile of design drafts. Don't speak so soon, man. You might want to leave yourself an out. Yeah, right, I'll drag you down to eat it with me. Because of Yang Jian's fierce hatred for her, seeing Shen Buyu felt a little like sneaking around. Her car was parked right downstairs. It was freezing out, but she was still standing outside the car waiting for me. She was wearing the jacket I bought her, wrapped up in the scarf I gave her. And the moment she saw me, she gave me the warmest smile. The very next second I reached her side, she threw herself right into my arms. I quickly made a shushing gesture at her. Keep your voice down, let's get in the car. My friend actually thinks you're the absolute worst kind of toxic ex right now. Feeling like a complete thief, I dragged her into the car. I pulled a pair of knit gloves out of my pocket. Shen Buyu smiled, and earnestly accepted my gift. Mr. Fang, I already have so many pairs of these. Oh, you don't like them? I reached out to snatch them back, but she was quicker and pulled them away. I love them, actually. She and I didn't have much in common to talk about, but we somehow had endless things to say. She leaned against my shoulder, and I gently nuzzled her head. My friend said, if I ever dared to marry someone like you for my second marriage, then what? Anyway, just that something really messed up would happen. I let out a fake sigh. I can already picture him chewing me out. Shen Buyu burst into laughter. How about you find someone else? Shen Buyu, what on earth are you talking about? I only want to be with you. I just mean, what if, one day, I'm suddenly gone? Before she could even finish her sentence, I pulled her into a tight hug, cutting her off completely. Shen Buyu nestled closely against me. I was just speaking hypothetically. Even hypothetically, that's terrifying. You know me, I grew up without any love from my parents. So, whoever treats me well, I end up falling for them. That's how it was with Lu Jiaoyao. And that's how it started with you, too. But, things changed later on. I just wanted to make you happy. Whenever I saw what other people had, I wanted you to have it, too. I started caring so much about the things I said, terrified of upsetting you. It feels like my every emotion is completely tied to you now. So, when you talk about leaving, it breaks my heart. Hearing this, Shen Buyu pressed a soft kiss to my chin. That's because you love me. Then promise me we won't separate, okay? You told me you'd never refuse a request of mine. Okay, I won't leave you. The next day, as soon as I walked out of my bedroom, Yang Jian spotted me. I totally saw you getting into a fancy luxury car last night. While tearing open my food packaging, I just kept my mouth shut. Seeing my silence, he rolled his eyes hard. Alright, I get it. You went back to your ex. Don't tell me you let your ex-wife humiliate you again? God, look at how pathetic you are. It's not like that at all. Why would she humiliate me? She's wonderful. Stop, that's enough. Spare me the sickeningly sweet romance. Say one more word and I'm throwing you out. I gave up trying to explain, and just picked up my bowl to take a sip of soy milk. The TV in the background was playing the morning news. We both listened for a moment, and a heavy silence fell over us. Something huge had happened to the Fang family. The scandal broke out just this morning. It involved a major safety accident at a construction site from way back. Yang Jian looked at me, his eyes full of concern. I just shook my head. I waved it off, saying I was fine. I just didn't expect Shen Buyu to move this fast. I thought back to my past life. My second uncle was the mastermind behind it all, manipulating Boss Fang into doing those horrible things. But this time, it's happening 10 years earlier. Shen Buyu's business empire is already at its peak, and my uncle's power hasn't grown to a terrifying level yet. So, those tragedies shouldn't happen again, right? Today was supposed to be my date with Lu Jiaoyao. I was even giving Yang Jian a ride on the way. The driver was keeping a steady pace. About halfway through the trip, my eyelids started getting extremely heavy. I'm gonna take a quick nap. Wake me up when we get there. I didn't even hear an answer before I completely blacked out, until a harsh, ear-piercing scrape of metal woke me up. Fang Shu, open your damn eyes. My limbs felt like lead. As I forced my eyes open, all I saw were concrete pillars, steel pipes, and Yang Jian leaning against them. I stumbled up from the ground in a daze, while Yang Jian was right next to me, kicking his legs in frustration. When he saw me get up, he finally let out a breath of relief. Thank God, you're finally awake. Hurry up and untie these ropes for me. Realizing we were in some strange place and had actually been kidnapped, I took a few steps, but my whole body felt totally drained. I dragged myself over to Yang Jian and squatted down. The moment I saw the thick rope on his wrists, a rush of familiar memories hit me. I snapped my head up. Looking around the room, cold sweat instantly poured down my back. Wasn't this the exact same abandoned factory from my past life, where Shen Buyu and I met our tragic end? The rope was tied in a dead knot. It was impossible to untie. I had to fray it against the stone. They actually dared to kidnap me? They must have a fucking death wish. Seriously, they're dead meat. We rubbed the rope against the concrete for ages, but it barely frayed. Completely exhausted, he slumped against the stone slab. Alright, stop struggling. They tied me up, but they left you untied. That means my family is their real target. While no one's looking, you need to run. Just remember to get help. Hearing him say that, I could only smile bitterly and apologize. I'm afraid, I'm the one who dragged you into this. What do you mean? Before he could even finish his sentence, Lu Jiaoyao's voice suddenly echoed from behind us. Your friend is seriously annoying. Yang Jian tried to peek around, but I quickly shoved his head back down. He doesn't know anything about this. Let him go. Lu Jiaoyao didn't say a word, but Yang Jian lost his temper first. I made it crystal clear to you. My last name is Yang. You actually dared to kidnap me? Once my old man finds out, he'll make you wish you were never born. You hear me? This is between us. There's no need to drag the Yang family into this. Yang Jian's family background made him fearless since he was a kid. If anything actually happened to him, literally no one would make it out alive. Lu Jiaoyao glared at us with a dark, twisted expression. A moment later, she tossed something over to us. Yang Jian, cut the ropes yourself. But don't you dare move a muscle. Otherwise, none of you are getting out of here alive. Hearing this, Yang Jian scrambled to pick up the toy knife. But, once I untie the ropes, they aren't going to pull a fast one, are they? If I make it out, I'm calling for help immediately. Yeah, that's the plan. It just feels like we're at a total dead end. They have absolutely nothing left to lose. Remembering how it went in my past life, I forced myself up and shoved him away. At least one of us needs to make it out. Alright, Fang Shu, you have to hang on. I'm getting help, I'll come back for you. With that, he bolted for the exit without even looking back. Just like that, it was only me and Lu Jiaoyao left in the room. The second I tried to stand up, she yanked me back hard. Then she dragged me right to the window. Let's see who decided to show up. I followed her gaze and looked down. Down in the courtyard, Shen Buyu was standing right in front of my second uncle. Seeing her there, I instantly started thrashing around. Lu Jiaoyao just watched for a moment, and let out a soft laugh. Just wait, you'll get to see Shen Buyu's dead body. Oh, right, your second uncle too. There's no escape for him either. My heart was pounding out of my chest, my fingertips turning to ice. My whole body started shaking. But I knew, the more I showed I cared about Shen Buyu right now, the more danger she'd be in. So, I forced my eyes shut. We're divorced. Whatever happens to her has absolutely nothing to do with me. Lu Jiaoyao stared coldly down at the street. Is that so? Second Uncle Fang, break one of her legs. The very next second, a loud bang echoed out, and Shen Buyu instantly crumpled to the ground. She looked up toward my window, her face pale as a ghost. Lu Jiaoyao, I'm right here. Let him go. I'm the one you really hate. Fang Shu grew up with you. He never did anything to hurt you. Just let him go. But Lu Jiaoyao didn't even flinch. Instead, she leaned in and whispered against my ear. Xiao Shu, are you having fun? A freezing chill ran through my entire body. I couldn't utter a single word. Second Uncle Fang. Break the other one. Before she even finished her sentence, I desperately grabbed her hand. No, please, don't do this. Just let her go, okay? I'll do whatever you want. Anything. Hearing that, the sick smile on Lu Jiaoyao's face instantly vanished. She stared dead into my eyes, not even blinking, her fingers gripping me so hard that her knuckles turned stark white. Meanwhile, down below, Shen Buyu was forced to her knees, her face twisted in pure panic. The agonizing pain in her leg was too much, cold sweat pouring down her forehead. Lu Jiaoyao, let Fang Shu go. Take me instead. I'm way more valuable to you than he is. Let her go. I'll do whatever you want. Lu Jiaoyao's expression was terrifyingly cold. The very next second, she grabbed my chin and forced her lips onto mine. The moment she touched me, I instinctively started thrashing around. Feeling me resist, Lu Jiaoyao growled a threat. Do you want her to die? I froze instantly. She pressed her lips hard against mine, rubbing aggressively. A few seconds later, I was so disgusted I couldn't take it anymore. I violently shoved her away and collapsed onto the floor, throwing up my guts. Seeing this, Lu Jiaoyao coldly yelled down an order to do it. Then, another loud bang echoed from downstairs. My mind went completely blank. I scrambled to the window, stumbling and crawling. Shen Buyu, but the image of her falling to the ground never happened. Instead, it was my uncle. He was lying face down in the dirt. Shen Buyu's hands were shaking uncontrollably. Not far away, rescue teams swarmed in, quickly cordoning off the area. Seeing this, Lu Jiaoyao's face twisted in panic. Suddenly, she lunged forward, grabbed me by the collar, and dragged me back behind a concrete pillar on the second floor. Outside the window, they were yelling out negotiations to Lu Jiaoyao. Hiding in our blind spot, she pinned me down fiercely. Tell Shen Buyu to come in and see me. Otherwise, I'll drag him to hell with me. My strength hadn't returned yet. With her hands choking my neck, I had to gasp heavily for air. Lu Jiaoyao, calm down. I am very calm. In our past life, you were willing to die for Shen Buyu. So why is it suddenly a problem when it's me? I desperately slapped at her hands. Let me go. Isn't it better to just live a good life? Jiaoyao, stop this. If you stop now, it's not too late. But Lu Jiaoyao acted like she didn't hear a word, just rambling to herself. I could have fixed everything. Why did you have to come back too? Give me back the real Fang Shu. I reached out weakly in vain, as my vision started fading to black. Just then, a familiar voice rang out from a few steps away. Lu Jiaoyao, I'm here. Let him go. The moment she spoke, the crushing grip on my neck vanished. Shen Buyu had come alone. Her hands were completely wrapped in bandages, looking even more battered than in our past life. Lu Jiaoyao dragged me a few steps back, pulling out a weapon and holding it right to my throat. Shen Buyu, this time, let's play a different game. She pointed at a leather jacket not far away. Put that on. That jacket couldn't have been more familiar. In my past life, that was exactly what got me killed. So, I started thrashing wildly. No, don't put it on. No, there is an explosive device in there. Lu Jiaoyao let out a crazed, thrilling laugh, completely losing her mind. In your past life, Shen Buyu was willing to hold you as she took her last breath. What about you? Just how much do you love her? No, don't listen to her, Shen Buyu. She grabbed hold of me, letting out a string of icy sneers. You really think she can beat me? What good is it, even if she protects you perfectly? Even if you don't come out, I can still bust that door down and go right in. And tie you up. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Today, between you and her, only one gets to walk out alive. Shen Buyu couldn't hear our little whispers. She spoke, she frantically threw the clothes on. Keep your weapon away from his neck. I'll put it on. Shen Buyu, just go. I'm begging you. The next second, a sharp beep rang out. The countdown had started. I squeezed my eyes shut in total despair. Right then, Lu Jiaoyao suddenly shoved me hard from behind. Fang Shu, pick one. I stood right between the two of them. The moment I took even half a step toward Shen Buyu, she would back away a full step. Shen Buyu warned me with absolute seriousness. Don't come any closer. Watch out for the thing on me. Seeing her face so utterly filled with worry for me, I froze. I didn't dare to take another step. It wasn't that I was afraid of dying, but choosing Shen Buyu right in front of Lu Jiaoyao would only push her over the edge. It might even trigger the incendiary device early. Lu Jiaoyao let out a cold laugh, standing there making sarcastic remarks. Fang Shu, admit it, the only person you truly love is yourself. You're exactly like your second uncle. Selfish and completely heartless. Shen Buyu had already backed up to the window. She gave me a look. Lu Jiaoyao, about what happened to your father. I am so sorry, you have no right to talk about my father. Lu Jiaoyao, who had just been enjoying the show, instantly snapped. She took a half step forward. Do any of you spoiled brats born with silver spoons in your mouths have even an ounce of real heart? But, your father back then, really did break safety protocols. He wasn't wearing a hard hat, and we paid the full compensation. Shut up. Shen Buyu didn't shut up. Instead, an icy smirk crept onto her face. You're just another pathetic loser. They tore into each other. While deep down, I felt like the whole world had truly gone mad. Every single word, out of Shen Buyu's mouth was perfectly hitting Lu Jiaoyao's sore spots. Does she have a death wish? As they argued, Lu Jiaoyao pulled a lighter out of nowhere. She smashed it onto the ground, and the fire roared to life in an instant. Gasoline. She had already poured it all over the floor. Lu Jiaoyao walked toward me, her eyes bloodshot with rage. From this angle, I could only see the half of her face that hadn't fully healed yet. It's you people, you ruined my life, Fang Shu. Why didn't you choose me? If you had just told me earlier that you didn't like disfigured faces, I wouldn't have been so ruthless to myself back then. Hearing that, I felt like a bucket of ice water had been dumped right over my head. Yeah, if I didn't do all this, how else could I have used your guilt to track down Shen Buyu? Lu Jiaoyao finally dropped her gentle act, letting out a harsh, piercing laugh. If you had chosen me, it wouldn't have ended like this. Now that we're here, you only have yourself to blame. Go to hell with me. The exact second she said that, she pulled out a detonator remote. Seeing that, I didn't even think. I just spun around and threw my body over Shen Buyu, hugging her as tightly as I could. I heard Shen Buyu let out a sudden scream. The very next second, everything went completely dead silent. Right in front of my eyes was Shen Buyu's pale, bloodless face. Her lips were moving, like she was desperately trying to tell me something. It was only for a split second, and then the sound rushed back into my ears. Squad 1 reporting, all other devices are secured. Hostages confirmed safe. No other suspicious objects found on site. The fire is spreading fast. All personnel, evacuate the hostages immediately. The rescue team had arrived. Shen Buyu and I were practically dragged out of there. When I looked back, I saw Lu Jiaoyao lying on the ground, her back to me. Completely motionless. Outside, Yang Jian was pacing by the car. The second he saw me come out, he rushed over, cursing up a storm. It is the 21st century for crying out loud. We live in a civilized society now. The authorities have cracked down on this garbage so many times, and they're still pulling this crap? Every single one of these psycho criminals needs to be locked up. Lock them up for life and throw away the key. Man, I am begging you, just arrest all of them. Don't let a single one get away. Meanwhile, Shen Buyu, after letting the bomb squad strip the explosives off her, didn't say a single word. She just grabbed me while I was still talking to Young Jian, and dragged me straight toward the car. She shoved me into the backseat before climbing in right after me. She looked so intensely furious that I actually felt a massive wave of guilt. I shrank back into the seat. "Hey, don't look at me like that. You're scaring me." There was a brief silence. And then, she absolutely tore into me. "You're scared, but you still threw yourself over me? What, did you think we were playing some stupid duck and cover game?" The firebomb was strapped to me. What if Lu Jiaoyao had actually pressed that trigger? What would you have done? Seeing that she was about to keep screaming at me, I quickly squeezed my eyes shut and dramatically slumped against her shoulder. Oh no, I'm fainting from fear. Shen Buyu was totally caught off guard by my stunt. She took a deep, shaky breath, and then hugged me so incredibly tight. And in that exact moment, I finally realized her hands were actually trembling. She gently rubbed my hair, trying to calm down. "I'm sorry. My tone was harsh earlier. I originally wanted to jump out the window. That way, even if the rescue team failed, and the bomb went off, it wouldn't hurt you. But why did you rush over and hug me? I didn't think that much. Whenever I watched TV before, if there was a bomb, you hit the deck. I couldn't exactly grab and hug Lu Jiaoyao, right?" Hearing this, Shen Buyu was speechless for a moment. She didn't know what to say. "Thank God. We're both still alive. Are your wounds all bandaged up? Let me see." Shen Buyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "It's on my inner thigh." I completely ignored her words, and just kept my head down, yanking at her pants. "We're an old married couple. What are you so shy about?" Right at that moment, Yang Jian's voice came through the glass. "Yeah, exactly. I seriously think my buddy is getting beat up by his wife. Yeah, I literally watched his wife drag him away. That friend of yours handles this kind of thing, right?" Saying that, he yanked the car door open, only to find me kneeling right between Shen Buyu's thighs. With my hands still gripping her waist, 6 eyes locked, Yang Jian held his phone, staring blankly for 3 seconds. Then shut the door. "Never mind, call it off. I'm not getting involved in a couple's business. But a single dog just got abused. Do you guys handle that? Forget your friend, I'm calling animal control." When Shen Buyu and I had our makeup wedding, Yang Jian sat at the head table. He didn't seem to eat much. When we went over to toast him, Shen Buyu smiled so gently. "I used to hear Fang Shu talk about you all the time. He even said if his second marriage was still to me, something terrible might happen." Being stared at by her probing gaze, Yang Jian remembered his bold proclamation from back then. If his second marriage is still to her, I'll do a handstand and eat shit. For a moment, they just looked at each other in silence. Yang Jian laughed awkwardly, and raised his glass. That's all in the past. Let me propose a toast. Here's to wishing you two a lifetime of happiness." After the toast, I followed right beside Shen Buyu, muttering, "It's all in the past. Why did you even bring that up?" I was curious, really curious. I hesitated for a long time, then suddenly flashed a grin. "Lean in close. I'll tell you a secret. Say, if he actually went through with it, and dragged me into eating it with him, what would we do?" "Boss Shen, have you completely lost your sense of shame?" By evening, I slipped into some loose-fitting clothes, holding hands with Shen Buyu, walking along the beach. "You used to say you'd always bring me to the beach, but we never did." "Used to? When was that?" "I mean the 38-year-old you." 38 sounds a little old. Thinking of the Shen Buyu from my past life, I savored the memory and murmured, "Not old at all. 38-year-old you is still absolutely gorgeous. Just a bit quieter than you are now, and so easy to tease." I didn't notice how deeply she was thinking about my words. That night, the moment I walked into the bedroom, I was pinned against the wall. Then, with a sudden click, she locked me in. Shen Buyu slowly pressed herself against my back. "Does that older woman know you as well as I do?" Hearing that, I froze for a second, and then it suddenly hit me. I finally knew why she'd been acting so weird all day. She was jealous. The thought made me burst out laughing. "No way. You can't be serious." Shen Buyu reached out and gently grabbed my chin, smirking into the mirror. "Easy to tease? Sounds like she's just weak." "Hey, don't say that. Are you seriously defending her?" "No, but 10 years from now, when you remember saying this, are you going to try and prove you're better again?" Hearing me say that, she paused for a moment. "In principle, yes, I would. Then if you two are competing, why am I the one suffering?" Shen Buyu shot me a look. then stared blankly into the mirror. I really want that woman to see this. Okay, that's enough. A few seconds later, Shen Buyu tilted my head back and kissed me, endlessly whispering against my lips, "Fang Shu, you are mine." That night was probably the most emotionally demanding night of my life. I had to convince her that she was even more irresistible now than at 38, while she constantly made me reassure her that her 38-year-old self was still incredibly gorgeous. After I finally managed to coax Shen Buyu to sleep, I gently stroked her face, feeling a deep warmth in my heart. After all, there were countless times I had held the 38-year-old Shen Buyu's hand and sighed, if only we had gotten together sooner. For 10 whole years, we lived like two miserable strangers. I think I must have fallen for her even then. In the dead of night, when she quietly tucked me in, there were moments I wanted to hold her tight and say, "Let's make up." But Lu Jiaoyao's accident had left a deep, lingering thorn in my heart. Every time those feelings I refused to acknowledge bubbled up, that thorn would pierce fiercely into my chest. It was a constant reminder that Shen Buyu had once hurt my family. Maybe because I had suppressed it for so long. The moment the misunderstanding was finally cleared up, we dove into a brief, intensely romantic honeymoon phase. Thinking about all this, I cupped her face in my hands. I leaned in and pressed a very soft kiss to her lips. "I love you." Shen Buyu seemed to stir awake from my words. In the quiet, I could hear her heart start racing again. She really couldn't handle being teased. But, the next second, she completely turned the tables on me. "I love you too." I was completely caught off guard by her sudden passion. "Wait, what's gotten into you?" I just had a dream. I dreamed about our past life." I practically held my breath. "Really? Fang Shu. I'm so glad we got another chance to start over." "Me too. Thank God it wasn't too late." "Wait a second, I still have one more question. Since when did you start liking me?" That question only made Shen Buyu fall silent for a single second. She leaned her head against my shoulder, her voice incredibly soft. "I've had feelings for you, for a really, really long time. So long that even my memories are getting blurry. Actually, in our past life, it was also on my birthday. Just as the sun went down, my secretary said her goodbyes. Right before leaving, she poked her head through the doorway. "Boss Shen, wishing you a very happy birthday." Only then did I finally look up from a mountain of paperwork. I had heard those exact words quite a few times today, right up until that very moment. But I glanced at my completely silent phone, and a wave of bitterness washed over my heart. I still hadn't gotten a message from the one person I actually wanted to hear from. Staring at the ice-cold takeout on my desk, I just felt so incredibly exhausted. So, I picked up my phone and gave the house a call, even though just a few hours prior, I had explicitly told them that I wouldn't be coming home. On the other end of the line, the butler answered. "Miss Shen, are you coming home for dinner? Where is Fang Shu?" "Mr. Fang, he went out." "I understand." After hanging up, I just sat there, staring blankly at the empty office, completely lost in thought. I picked up my phone again, and opened my social feed. Sure enough, Lu Jiaoyao's little provocations never missed a beat, almost like I was torturing myself. I swiped through the photos, one by one. There were Fang Shu's hands, placing the candles, his smile as he held the cake and told her to make a wish, and the carefully prepared gifts, alongside a bouquet of blue roses. Seeing all of this, it reminded me that I used to have all of that, too. After all, if we really look back at it, and then later on, he started carrying all sorts of random stuff in his pockets. Burn cream, first aid spray, band-aids, playfully making up excuses like, "This is my payment." I remember one time, he crouched down right beside me, looking at the fresh injuries on my body. "Hey, big sis. Why do they always bully you?" Maybe it's because they hate me. After my father passed away, my mother remarried. From that day on, I never had a single day of peace. I just kept enduring it all. Back then, I used to think, maybe if they went too far one day, I could just move on to my next life. That'd be nice, too. At least I wouldn't have to wake up again. Looking at my distant expression, it seemed like he understood. So he reached out, wrapped his arms around my legs, and patted them gently. "I think you're wonderful. I really like you." His touch was so light, it felt practically weightless. But looking into his earnest eyes, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. Then it started pounding wildly, and a thought suddenly popped into my head. If I was really gone, he'd probably actually be sad. And so, from then on, I started fighting back, in that awful place. Sometime later, he celebrated my birthday with me. Squished little cake, paired with a broken candle. And the matches were soaked. They just wouldn't light, no matter what. He looked at me right then, sounding so incredibly upset. Uncle promised me he'd keep it perfectly safe for me. He lied to me again. But as I held that little cake, it felt like I was holding a precious treasure. Thank you. Please don't be sad. I really love it. I don't think there could ever be a better birthday gift than this. He hugged me tight. Happy birthday. Be happy always. Later, when I grow up, I'll buy you a massive cake. Those words, I held onto for so many years. I even, in my mind, played that exact scene over and over again. After all, to me back then, it was an impossible dream. Fang Shu also told me then that he'd give me a huge present the next day, and made me promise to wait for him. But that night, I took another vicious beating, and my heart just slowly went cold, ever since my father passed away. That very night, they had someone send me to a hospital abroad. At that time, I was tugging desperately at my mother's pant leg. Someone had told me they had a surprise for me, but sadly, that promise was never fulfilled in the end. After all, my begging was never heard by anyone, and I didn't know how Fang Shu, without me around, would manage to get by. So, I became determined to grow stronger. I fought tooth and nail just to survive, fought desperately to climb to the top. After years of careful plotting, I finally returned from abroad to take over the company, and I used every single trick in the book to marry him. But on the day of our wedding, the way he looks at me is just so cold. Sigh, it's all my fault. Last time, Mr. Shen sent someone to pick up my artist, and the one who got into an accident on the way, that was Fang Shu's ex-girlfriend. I had no idea he cared so much about that. No one ever told me. I always thought that by marrying Fang Shu, I was saving him. But in his eyes, I was just throwing my weight around, using his second uncle to force him into marrying a monster. I got it all completely wrong. Fang Shu already had someone he loved. Her name was Lu Jiaoyao. Still, on his birthday, I went to the hospital anyway. Today is my birthday, too. Thinking about the big cake and the presents he promised me back then, I wanted to give it one more try, but just as I expected, Fang Shu avoided me like the plague. When we spoke, he didn't even look at me once. Because of that, the words, "Let's get a divorce," just got stuck in my throat. I couldn't bring myself to say it. I made up so many excuses for myself. That big cake he promised me, he hasn't even given it to me yet. I told myself I'd wait for him to remember, to keep his promise, and then it would be okay to let him go. But I waited, and it never came. Even though Fang Shu and I lived together, it felt like we were complete strangers. Knowing how much he despised me, I hardly ever went home. Then one day, it was raining outside. I saw Fang Shu's name suddenly pop up on my screen, and I opened my phone in total disbelief. "Are you coming home today?" In that split second, my dead heart suddenly fluttered back to life. I hesitated for a moment, typed yes, and then quickly deleted it. Instead, I wrote, "What's wrong?" After that, nothing, just silence. And so, the regret started creeping in. Did I reply too slowly? Or was I too vague? It distracted me so much that I was totally spacing out during my meetings. After work, I drove home, even though I had already parked the car right downstairs. I hesitated again. Just wait a little longer, I thought. Wait until Fang Shu falls asleep, so we don't end up fighting again. Gripping the steering wheel, my wedding ring caught the faint light in the darkness. But all I felt was this bitter ache in my chest. A long time passed, before I finally pushed the front door open. The butler heard me coming in, and walked out. "You're home." Mr. Fang is asleep, on the couch. I raised an eyebrow, looking over. "The couch? He was waiting for you all this time. Why?" He said something about making up for your missed birthday. He only mentioned it once, and then seemed to change his mind. "But I saved it for you." He made it himself. "I was planning to send it to your office tomorrow." Looking at the cake with a tiny bite missing, I actually felt my heart warm up all over again. I knew right then, I could never bring up the topic of divorce ever again. Even the slightest bit of kindness from Fang Shu was enough to completely break down all my defenses. Just then, a soft mumble suddenly came from the sofa. My whole body went stiff. And Fang Shu's gaze darted straight toward me the very next second. The moment he saw me, he completely froze. Miss Shen just got back. And she hasn't eaten yet. I see there's cake on the table. And since you just made it, you won't be able to finish it anyway. The cake is too sweet. I don't really like it. You, just do whatever you want. After saying that, he walked into the bedroom, shut the door, and even locked it from the inside. Miss Shen, look. I let out a silent sigh. Just cut me a slice. I'll leave right after I eat. It works out perfectly. I didn't actually like the fruit on top of the cake at all. But knowing Fang Shu had made it with his own hands, I forced myself to eat it anyway. I ate 2 slices before reluctantly getting up to leave. The butler quickly brought out a to-go box, packed up all the leftovers, and shoved it right into my hands. I tried to refuse. Just take it, Miss Shen. This is your own home, and it's your favorite food. The sir will be really happy about it, I'm sure. Honestly, living like this wasn't too bad. Because no matter how bad things got, at the very least, I still had a home, even though many close friends advised me, telling me I shouldn't force myself to stay in a miserable marriage, and that after a divorce I could find someone who truly cared for me. But Fang Shu still wore our wedding ring, and he never ever spent the night out. He just couldn't bring himself to be intimate with me anymore. After all, I was the one who ruined his ex-girlfriend. He just couldn't bear to slap the label of a divorcee on me too. And so, I just kept finding bits of joy in the bitterness, dragging out our marriage for many, many years. By the 7th year, problems started popping up at work. The company fell into a massive crisis. I used to have the extra energy to take good care of Fang Shu. But lately, I just felt completely overwhelmed and stretched too thin. One day, after wrapping up a meeting, I picked up my phone and realized I had a missed call from Fang Shu. When I called him back, Fang Shu just said, "It's nothing anymore. You just focus on your work." But because I was still deeply worried, I ended up calling the butler. "Oh, right, sir was having bad stomach pains earlier. But he's already seen a doctor. And he's feeling much better." Then, I just heard the butler rambling. "Mr. Fang has been really stressed lately, busy setting up a studio with a friend. His mood has been pretty low, too. The doctor said, it's a stress-induced stomach ulcer, and he needs to relax and lift his spirits." I thought about it a lot. I can be completely devoted to him, and I can buy him absolutely anything he desires. But the one thing I just can't give him is emotional support. I asked around for advice, and finally, my secretary suggested, "How about getting him a puppy?" And so, just like that, after looking at countless options, I picked out a little white puppy. I felt like it resembled Fang Shu when he was little, gentle and super clingy. It loved curling up in your arms, sticking its tongue out and just being playful. I just had a feeling Fang Shu was absolutely going to love it. Sure enough, the butler called me that very same day. Sir played with the puppy all afternoon. He bought so much dog food and wet food. He's even learning how to knit a scarf for it. He looks so happy and totally invested. You really do know him best. At the same time, Lu Jiaoyao's social media hadn't been updated in days. I figured, the puppy must have completely stolen Fang Shu's attention. What a good little dog. Late one night, after wrapping up a dinner party, something just came over me, and I went straight home. Because everyone at the table that night was married. Throughout the dinner, the wives' phones kept ringing non-stop. They were complaining, sure, but in their eyes, they couldn't hide how proud they felt. Watching them, I thought to myself, hey, I have that, too. Why shouldn't I go home? And so, I stumbled through the front door, feeling my way through the dark. In the past, whenever I occasionally stayed the night, I didn't want to wake Fang Shu. So I would just crash on the couch. But this time, I walked my usual path, but I ended up kicking something over. Instantly, there was a flurry of barking, and the lights flicked on. Fang Shu stood at the bedroom door in his pajamas, looking like he had just been woken up. And the puppy ran over to him, barking away like it was tattling on me. Leaving me just standing there frozen, still wearing my shoes, stepping right on the carpet, with a tangled mess of yarn wrapped all around my ankle. I had accidentally ruined Fang Shu's little masterpiece. Knowing I'd messed up, I just hung my head, without saying a single word. Fang Shu was the first to react. He frowned, gently nudged the puppy aside, and walked over to me. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming home?" I quickly stepped back. "Don't come any closer. I haven't showered yet, and I absolutely reek of alcohol." Fang Shu completely ignored that. "Just lift your foot, go sit on the couch." I just let him guide me, and there Fang Shu was, kneeling on the carpet, gently entangling the yarn from my foot. After putting things away, he finally came back to the living room, bringing a glass of hot water and some hangover medicine. "Are you still feeling sick? Thank you. I'll just rest for a bit and then head out." "There's no need, I'll get you a blanket. Just sleep here. Be careful if you get up to use the bathroom tonight, don't kick it over again." Right as he said that, the little puppy let out 2 barks. Fang Shu pulled the puppy back, grumbling as he rubbed its head. "Stop barking, mommy needs to sleep." Hearing that, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. It was its mommy, and just a few days ago, I had just heard Fang Shu calling himself daddy to the puppy. So, in the middle of the night, I sat cross-legged on the rug, getting ready to knit a little scarf for the puppy. At first, it wasn't too thrilled about it, but after fussing around until it got tired, it finally cuddled up next to me and lay down. I finished watching the tutorial on my laptop and clumsily started knitting. Petting the puppy, I mumbled to myself, "Mommy's knitting you a scarf, so you won't be cold anymore." Fang Shu heard the noise and came back out. When he saw the scene in front of him, he let out an exasperated laugh. I don't really remember what happened after that, because of how embarrassing that was, for a few days straight. I didn't even go home. Fang Shu and I had an unspoken agreement, never to bring up what happened that night, but I could feel that Fang Shu was treating me a little differently now. Now, he would call me once a week, reminding me to take the puppy for its shots, or to take it out to play. I was content. I felt like things were perfectly fine the way they were. But life would soon show me that, actually, things could be even better. One time, after getting completely drunk, second Uncle Fang spilled the truth. Fang Shu was right there with us. What everyone thought was an accident had actually been orchestrated by his second uncle. This all happened in the 9th year of our marriage. That very night, after leaving the Fang family home, Fang Shu squatted by the side of the road and just cried. He wept, telling me he was so sorry. And he even said he wanted a divorce. When he finally stopped crying, Fang Shu was exhausted, and we finally went home together. In the car, Fang Shu stared out the window. While I just looked at his face, my heart completely numb. Fang Shu knew everything now. Would that change his mind? Or, did he still want a divorce? That was fine too. If we really had to get a divorce, that was okay. After all, I had been by his side for 10 years. I was satisfied. If he was dead set on leaving, then it was time to let him go. When we got back home, I waited until Fang Shu fell asleep in the bedroom, and then I went back to lie on the couch. Then I closed my eyes and waited for dawn. But halfway through the night, I felt a soft kiss instead. My eyelids are so sensitive. I snapped my eyes open, locking onto Fang Shu's eyes, which were panicking because he got caught. Seeing him about to run away, I grabbed him tight. "Fang Shu, explain yourself. Don't just leave things hanging like this." He tried to pull away, but couldn't. Then, he spoke with a trembling voice. "If I told you that I like you, would you think I was lying? Would you think I'm annoying?" Hearing those words, my head started spinning. I thought I was dreaming. No, absolutely not. If you liked me, I'd be crazy happy. But that last part, I didn't have the courage to say out loud. We stayed perfectly still, just looking at each other for about a dozen seconds. And then, things just completely spiraled out of control. Fang Shu pinned me down on the couch, wrapped his arms around me, and pressed kiss after kiss, onto my forehead, my cheeks, and my lips. And I finally blurted out the secret I had buried deep in my heart for 10 years. "Fang Shu, do you love me? You really do love me, right? Please, please love me. Just like this. Please love me like this forever." The next morning, the moment I woke up, I thought it was all just a beautiful dream, until I heard that familiar voice right by my ear. I turned my head, and realized it wasn't a dream at all. Fang Shu's arm was gently resting under my head, listening to his breathing so incredibly close to me. I blinked in sheer disbelief, just staring at him for the longest time. I slowly reached out, and carefully brushed away the hair he was laying on. But, I still ended up waking him up. The moment our eyes met, I don't know why, the memories of last night suddenly flashed through my mind. and in a moment of sheer panic, I completely buried myself under the covers. For a second, I was too terrified to even look Fang Shu in the eyes. Then, I quietly poked my pinky finger out from under the blanket. Do you want to get some breakfast with me? This year, I turned 38, from the time I was just a kid, all the way to middle age, through all those long, agonizing years. I was always waiting for Fang Shu, all alone. So later on, when the fire consumed everything around us, that's why I refused to leave Fang Shu's side. Because I just couldn't bear the thought of living the rest of my life without him, waiting all over again. That would just be too painful. In our final moments, I held Fang Shu as tight as I could, with only one single thought in my head. In our next life, I hope we find each other much sooner. I stayed true to the words I once said to Shen Buyu. The happy story of me and Shen Buyu. One day after we got married, out on the Golden Beach. Just holding a coconut bowl, lounging on a beach chair without a care in the world. And during the half hour I was lying there, the topic of conversation among the group of college guys next door revolved entirely around the woman digging for shells by the beach. Oh, right. Did you see the watch on her wrist? What kind of guys do you think she likes? I chimed in without even realizing it. She likes handsome guys. Everyone suddenly went completely quiet. Staring weirdly at me for popping out of nowhere, they asked, what kind of handsome guys? Guys with great bodies, sweet talkers who know exactly how to charm a girl. The guys looked each other up and down, and finally, all eyes fell on me. Why don't you go ask her? I took a sip of my coconut water. Alright then, but if I actually manage to score, she's all mine. Rocking a head of messy hair, I walked right up to Shen Buyu. Shen Buyu had been examining a seashell, but the moment she saw me, her eyes instantly locked onto mine. We held eye contact for a few seconds. Then I pointed at the group of college guys not too far away. They wanted me to ask you what your type is. I like someone exactly like you. Well, that was direct. Excuse me, you beautiful lady. Would you do me the honor of joining me for dinner tonight? Shen Buyu was still holding the seashell, as our eyes met. They only exchanged a few words, didn't they? She totally goes for handsome guys who are direct, I declared, dragging Shen Buyu far away. Only then did I peek into her little bucket. Did you find any red shells? It was packed to the brim. I couldn't believe it. I just casually mentioned it this morning. And Shen Buyu actually went and gathered all of these. I gently took both of her hands, carefully wiped off the sand, and gave them a soft blow. Don't do this next time. You're going to make me think you actually enjoy picking up shells. Because she is just way too sweet, I had to set some ground rules for her. If you don't like something, you have to say so. Even if it's something I want, you need to learn to say no. Shen Buyu paused for a second, then nodded her head. I won't pick them up next time. Hearing that, my heart completely melted. Because of our age gap, Shen Buyu always subconsciously humored me a lot. But I wanted to do things that she liked, too. Yet, after secretly observing her for so long, it seemed like the only thing she truly liked was me. So, I came up with a bold move, planning to test it out tonight. As for the dinner location, I booked a completely private terrace. Once all the dishes were served, and the waiters had quietly slipped away, out on the terrace. It was just the two of us. At first, I sat right across from Shen Buyu, but after taking in her gorgeous face from the front, I just couldn't get enough, so I scooted over to sit right beside her. Staring at her side profile. Are you feeling warm? Of course, I wasn't feeling hot at all. I was just worried that sticking this close to you might make you hot. Hey gorgeous, your face looks a little flushed. Are you really starting to feel the heat? And then, I picked up the fan on my own and gently fanned her. After spending all this time together, Shen Buyu seemed pretty immune to my wild antics. She gave me a glance, then picked up her silverware, staring straight ahead. Fang Shu, if you don't eat soon, the food is going to get cold. Oh, you wanna eat? Let's eat, let's eat. I really am starving. Saying that, I deliberately grabbed the glass of lemonade Shen Buyu had been drinking from. After taking a sip, I reached out, snatching the knife and fork right out of her hands to cut her steak. "Let me cut this for you." Seeing her still completely unfazed, I muttered under my breath while slicing the meat. Wow, she can really hold it together. I slid the cut steak right in front of her, staring at her intently. Seeing this, Shen Buyu finally stopped what she was doing. The very next second, she planted a soft kiss on my cheek. "There, can we eat now?" I nodded, feeling pretty satisfied. But that wasn't nearly enough. When teasing her, how could I just wave the white flag so soon? So, I furrowed my brow. My face, it hurts a little. Shen Buyu's attention shifted instantly. She leaned in close, carefully examining my face. "Where does it hurt? What's wrong with it?" Seeing her like this, I took the chance to pull my chair even closer, pressing it right up against hers. Then I complained. "It's hurting all over right here." "Wait, take another look for me. I can't see it myself. You have to tell me what's wrong. I trust you, and I want you to blow on it for me. I promise, if you just blow on it, I'll feel so much better. The pain will vanish instantly." Shen Buyu quietly let me ramble on, and then she fell completely silent. Well, yeah, after all, I had spent almost the entire day hiding right under the sunshade. But I was being far too relentless. So, Shen Buyu could only sigh helplessly, peeling my face away from her neck. Then, cupping my cheeks with both hands, she took a really close look. Supporting my head with one hand, she reached into her bag with the other. A moment later, she pulled out a small tube of cream. "I actually have some soothing cream right here in my bag. Hold still, let me put some on you." She then squeezed a little bit of the cream into her palm. She waited for it to warm up before gently rubbing it onto my face. I don't know if the cream just added too much friction, or if it was because we suddenly shifted our posture. But Shen Bayu's clothes just slipped right off and fell to the floor. And right along with them went our self-control. Things were going way too smoothly. I held back a giggle. "We haven't even eaten yet. Are you really in that much of a hurry? You're not even gonna let me eat? You're the one who didn't want to eat. You were clearly the one seducing me first," I said, scooping Shen Buyu up in my arms. "I did not. Your mind is just completely in the gutter. Don't you dare pin this on me." As we walked into the bedroom, I kept on teasing her. "Well, if you don't actually need anything, I'm just gonna go back and eat. I'm meeting up with some people to play mahjong after dinner, so I probably won't be coming back tonight." Before I could even finish my sentence, she pushed me down onto the bed. I saw Shen Bayu's eyes turn slightly red as she leaned down and kissed me. "You are not going anywhere tonight. I've already made plans for us. Why won't you let me go out?" "No way, I definitely don't want to just stay cooped up at home all the time." I paused for a moment, and then I finally laughed out loud. "Alright, after all, I am your gift. You can unwrap me however you like." "Fang Shu, you're playing dirty. Don't you like it?" "I love it. I love it so much." I gently kissed her lips. And then, I finally confessed the words I'd been keeping deep in my heart. "I care about you, so you have to learn how to open up and express yourself to me. Whatever you ask of me, maybe I can make it happen." Right at that moment, Shen Bayu's eyes suddenly filled with tears, and she pressed herself tightly against me. The world felt so vast and wide, but I knew that only right here is the true sanctuary for my soul.